Hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. In this one we will be making this lovely boutonniere. These are lovely for weddings or proms. This one is about a medium-sized one, so it's not super small but it's not super large, so it's a nice in-between size. It'd be good for the groom's father or the best man. So to start, you'll cut your two calla lilies to the length you would like them. I like mine at about 2 inches. Then we cut off just the outer stem of one of them and leave the metal. And then you're going to put a little slit in the other one and slide the metal piece into the calla lily stem. And then they are connected together without having to use floral tape. And then I just adjust it to where I'd like them to sit. Next I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue to hold it in place so it doesn't slide out while I'm working on the base. Let that dry for a second, and then you flip it over and you put a little hot glue at the end of the stem. And you take one of your small pieces of satin and you put it on the end, and then next you're going to add some lines of hot glue. So just add it in each of the corners of the satin, and then you press them up onto the stem. Then you're just going to trim off the excess so it's not all bulky. Then you heat seal the ends of mine so they don't fray. And then we're going to do it again, but we're going to position the fabric opposite so that we're overlapping the area that is currently be a little bit of green showing. So then we do the same thing. We put the hot glue going out each direction. And then we press it up to finish filling in those gaps. This gives the base a really nice finished look once we're done wrapping it, so that you can't see any of the greenery. So then we trim it again. Heat seal it again. And now we start to add on the accents. I get an idea of where I'd like the feather to hang over, and then I just put down a little bit of hot glue to tack it in place. Press it on there. And then I do the other side of the calla lily. I like, for my personal preference, I like to put two feathers, one on each side of the calla lily. I think it's aesthetically pleasing. And I like the black to go with these purples. They look really well together. You can also do it with white. I'd stay away from using purple. Then I just trim off the excess feathers so it's not in the way. And then I work on the next calla lily doing the same thing. We're just going to put 2 feathers on there, one on each side. Don't put on too much hot glue, otherwise it's going to seep through and you're going to be able to really see it. So just a little bit of hot glue, just enough to hold it in place. Trim it again so we don't have a whole bunch of extra fluff everywhere. And then I like to add one in the center to fill in that gap so it doesn't look so empty right there. And then I take this piece of satin that I've trimmed into a triangle and just put a little bit of hot glue there and then center it. Then we're going to flip it over and we're going to glue the ends and fold them to the back. This was the larger piece of satin that I had cut, and then I folded it and I cut just a triangular tip. And then I heat sealed the edges so it doesn't fray. Now from here we take the longest piece of satin, we heat seal the end, and we're going to start between the two pieces of satin because there's going to be a dip there, and we don't want there to be a dip. So we're going to fill that in with a few passes of satin and then finish it off, and then we're going to start, once they're all about even, then we're going to take the satin and start again at the bottom, and then we're going to wrap it all the way to the top. Now it's not going to be like all funky and different thicknesses. We want it to be pretty much the same thickness going from all the way from the bottom to the top. We want it to be uniform. So I just twist it around, and then when I get toward the top, I like to fold it over. Fold it over and then finish it at the back. So position it so that it, I don't know, it just looks nice. And then fold it over, and then you trim it, heat seal it, and glue it to the back. Whenever possible, you want to finish, all of your seams and whatnot to be in the back so that you don't see them in the front. It gives it a much nicer finished look. Make sure it's all nice and in place. Next, you're going to take the little rhinestone ribbon, heat seal the edges. You don't have to on this one, but I feel that it's a little cleaner look if you just get rid of some of those extra little pieces that are sticking out. Then figure out the exact length you're going to need, because depending on how much satin you put, wrapped satin around it, it'll be different thicknesses. Once you've done a few of them, they're all going to be uniform, and you can just prep them all at once. And then you just put a little bit of glue in the front, and then you position it so that it's about in the middle. Again, so that the ends meet in the back, so that it's not, you don't have seams in the front. Make sure it's going to connect the way you want it to, and then glue it down, trying to keep it in place and even. Next, you're just going to put a little dollop of glue right up there at the top, in the middle of the triangle, and then you can press your medium-sized bow in there. You can also finish it without a bow, just leave it as is, but I like the bows. I think they're pretty. Shown here are my single and double Calla Lily boutonnieres, and this is what one looks like on a tuxedo. Please like and subscribe if you would like to see more tutorials. Thank you.